Okay, wait, I got scared.
From what?
What's happening, YouTube? Welcome back to another episode of the Who Shot You series, where I take the time to get to know the photographer who have shot my dope shit. And today we have one of the dopest, most underrated, most genuine people that I've met in LA. Ladies and gentlemen, Jose.
Hey guys, my name is Jose Manuel Cruz Gallegos. People just call me Jose for the most part. I was born in Mexico 23 years ago. Grew up in Texas and now live here in LA. I've been here for the past 2 years, or a year and a half, give or take. And yeah, I've stayed busy, I shoot, I try to work with as many people as I can. And this is like my third or fourth time shooting with Trey, I think. Yeah. Officially shooting, it's been like third or fourth time. Yeah. We've done content before, so I don't keep track of how many times we do that, but I think it's like the fourth time we're both like taking photos of each other or just like have cameras out and shooting each other.
So what got you into photography and what kind of camera do you use?
I shoot on a Canon 60. Typically my go-to lens is an 85mm 1.4. For those of you that care about specs and cameras, I have a couple of other lenses, but this one's my go-to. And people normally actually think that I shoot on a Canon 5D Mark IV, that I have an L series lens, and that I have all these like fancy equipment. I don't. I'm a natural light photographer. I love shooting in natural light. And typically I just have my camera, myself, and like a reflector, have an assistant, or one of the crew bounce light. But other than that, that's pretty much my setup. I love shooting fashion. That's my passion, I guess.
He can actually dress too. Like he can...
I style. I like to style. For a long time actually, before I started working with stylists and makeup artists back in Texas and even here for a little bit, I would style out of my closet. And yeah, so like I have a thing for style, I have a thing for fashion, just whatever.
Look at the Tom Ford he got on right now. Cool guy. Cool guy.
A little obnoxious and pretentious right now, but yeah. So I also shoot concept, advertising, editorial, commercial. I shoot everything pretty much. I do weddings, I do whatever. So holla at me if you want any photos taken. But
I'll put his shameless plug, by the way.
Yeah, by the way, I have
shameless plug.
There, you can find my info in the description in the video. But I
shoot your shit, ain't nothing.
I shoot a little bit of everything, and there's money to be made in everything. You just got to do what you got to do. But for the most part, I also do concept photography, so Photoshop, photo manipulation, that sort of thing.
Retouching.
Yeah, I love Photoshop. I love retouching.
Get this man on.
I will do it all. And then my, I guess one true calling is working with artists. So whether that be actors or musicians or people in the music industry, I love telling stories. And I love talking about things that matter to me or that matter to the person that I'm shooting. So I love coming together with someone and we come up with a concept, come up with a way to execute the concept, and have like layers and elements of symbolism.
I can see that majorly because our last shoot that we did for the Emerald magazine, like it was a back and forth type of feedback. Like we read off of each other, and that's why that shoot came out so dope. And also I think we just have good chemistry.
Yeah.
So I can see what you mean by that.
I love creating because it's like there's absolutely no money to be made in concept photography, but I am an artist first and foremost, and that's the one avenue that lets me express things that come to mind or like inspirations. Or I have a journal that I keep with little snippets of like, you should shoot this way, this way, and that way. And I try to find people who are able to grasp the concept, because a lot of times you'd be surprised people don't really understand where I'm coming from or like what that means or how they would do that. So it's very selective in who you can work with for stuff like that. And yeah, with just any shoot that I do, I like to be collaborative. I like it to be like a back and forth. It's not my vision specifically. It's the model, it's the stylist, it's the makeup artist, it's the whole team coming together and then meeting halfway and making something happen out of all of our visions put together. And I think that's when really dope stuff happens, because usually they can bring in things that you wouldn't think about or like additional elements that you wouldn't even consider before that, and it's a different perspective, and it's like comes together like a puzzle, and it works out really well. And yeah, so I try to be very open and receptive, and then I try to have the models especially like be really communicative and just really express what they want to get from the shoot, regardless of what type of shoot it is. And normally those come out better than the ones where models just show up and they're like, I don't know, like I just want to take photos. And
no, and in the model standpoint, I agree. I can relate to that so much more, because it's so much easier when it's like a little bit of a back and forth instead of like you having this in your head and then them having that in their head. And it's like completely different. So what is one of the biggest mistakes you can say you made as a photographer in this industry?
I think one of the biggest mistakes is selling myself short. In terms, it doesn't really sound like a mistake, but in terms of knowing what your work is worth and knowing what your energy, your time, your resources, what you as a person, as a creative are worth, and then going into a room or going into a meeting, going into a shoot or a collaboration or anything like that, where you undersell yourself to meet them at their level. And initially you think you're doing it, oh, like I'm being a nice person, I'm being generous, like you try to justify it. Like you, and that sometimes it is a nice thing to do, it's a nice gesture to think about other people and like what they need and try to help others out, but at the same time, most of the times, you undersell yourself for the sake of working, and then it ends up being either a project or a shoot or a collaboration that wasn't worth the time, the money, the resources, whatever you put into it. There's just so many different things that can happen when you undersell yourself. So I think that's my biggest mistake.
I agree.
And like big ramble, but essentially don't undersell yourself, and don't be afraid to walk away from projects, walk away from opportunities, because the right things will come your way. And if you're wasting your energy underselling yourself, you miss opportunities that do come because you're too tired or you're too exhausted or you're just like booked like crazy, spreading yourself super thin. And the right opportunities will come up.
Yeah.
And it's just like being patient and being still and really appreciating yourself as an individual and understanding that there will be people who will appreciate you, who will value you and who want to pay you and want to support you at your level or even higher.
So how long you say you've been doing photography now?
Professionally for about 6 years.
So what is one thing you would tell yourself 6 years ago in the professional you now?
That I was going to go a long way. I thought I had it together then, and I didn't, which is fine, which is just a process of learning.
Thank you for saying that. A lot of people don't, it's okay to not have your shit together right now, people. It takes time.
And I feel like obviously clearly there's a lot that I still don't have together, but I've come a long way, and I think I would sit 16-year-old Jose Manuel down and just be like, chill, relax. It's gonna be fine. You'll get there. Don't work yourself in.
I like that. I like that. So, last question, Jose. What is something we can expect from you? Like, we're looking forward to. All your links and everything is in the description now. So, what's something we can look forward to seeing from you?
So, I've been shooting a lot in LA, and one of the things about shooting fashion is a lot of times when you shoot for magazines, stuff takes forever to come out. It takes weeks, sometimes months, sometimes even half a year. It's a very slow process. So there are a couple of shoots that I have for a couple of magazines that have not come out. They've been in the works, or I've shot them a while back, but they're coming out relatively soon. And just overall, like I'm quitting my 9 to 5.
He's quitting his 9 to 5. He's quitting his 9 to 5. Next week, actually.
Yeah, next week. My last day on Friday. Praise the Lord. And so it's going to be an exciting time for me because I'm going to be taking a lot of freelance gigs, reaching out to brands. I have a couple of different opportunities lining up, brands in LA and elsewhere reaching out to me and stuff like that. There are a couple of potential trips that I might go on as a photographer, so it's an exciting year. So I'm very excited.
I'm excited for you, Jose. And now that you guys are following him, I'm pretty sure you're excited you got to finally meet. Can we get like one glance of you without the shade so we know what you look like?
Hey guys, what's up? So the reason I wore them, the reason I wore them is because it was sunny AF earlier, and they fit the whole like black suave buzz cut look.
You just got it.
Yeah, I had longer hair before this.
Literally just got it.
So forgive the pretentiousness. They're all.
You can put it back on. You ugly as shit, bro. Like, put it back on. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. But Jose, it was a pleasure getting to know a new side of you. I hope everyone enjoys. Y'all make sure to follow all his social media in the description below. He's got a lot of major great things coming up. Trust me, you don't want to miss any of it. Follow me on social media. Subscribe to the page. Like it. Comment. Share. All that. Y'all know it already. And I look forward to seeing you next time. Let's get out of here because it's cold as shit.